some sketchy shit. Doo-dah, doo-dah, hope I get away with it. Oh, the doo-dah day.
Hey.
Hey.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Stupid O'Clock. I guess you're looking at the crew tonight.
Well, we might have some late arrivals, but, you know, it is a holiday weekend, so.
Yeah. I got me a new toy in here. The Starship Lunar Lander.
Oh, okay. I believe that may be the first time I actually remember seeing a mock-up of it. So it's basically a hopper with a booster on the bottom?
It's basically a starship without wings.
Oh, okay.
With windows, cargo garage, and elevator. So they should be able to park, a couple cyber trucks and some tents and stuff like that. Maybe a couple of the Tesla robots to go with them.
Should be interesting to see how the batteries hold out in the near vacuum and the dust.
Right.
Um,
And the little black area at the top of it is a solar panel that wraps all the way around it.
Okay. That's a nice touch.
Carl says, I'm here till the cats make me go to bed.
Yeah. I had to run one out of here because she kept begging for food. I'd already fed her twice, and Lindsay's fed her twice. So I recognize sarcasm when I see it.
Yeah, I went and we got ours trained that in the morning they get a big bowl full of food and they got to make it last. And they usually do.
We can't do that. We've got to one of the outdoor cats that goes around and runs the other cats off of their food bowls and tries to eat everything that all 5 of them would have gotten. So Lindsay just makes it small portions, but she feeds them twice a day.
Oh.
He doesn't start fights with them. He just goes up and starts eating out of their bowl, and they politely go, "Barbarian," and walk away. Evidently, they know to eat fast enough to get what they want, and if they just kind of give it up, he'll eat it. He has got his ass whooped a time or two.
I'm not done yet.
Yeah, really. You go finish yours. If there's anything left of mine, I'll let you know. Mama made this. Stay out of it.
I wish my boy Husky was like that. He tries to take everybody's food. We have to literally cage him to eat.
Yep.
And we got, one of the big doggy pans, and we heap it over. 3 minutes, gone.
Mm-hmm. No, we keep the German Shepherd in the house while Lindsay feeds the cats outside. There's 2 cats that come in to eat, but their food's way up on the table where German Shepherd can't get to it because there's too many things in the way.
Mm.
And then I've got a little bowl and a little bitty teeny tiny food container back here that I will give them extras if I know, they got herded away from their food bowls. One of the cats that comes in to eat is usually the last one that gets run off of his food bowl, and he is the one that will absolutely tear the other cat up if he decides to take a notion.
That would be the alpha of the colony.
Well, this one is 10 years younger than the one that's a bully, and pretty much half feral. So he don't take nothing off nobody. But he sleeps up next to my leg at night in the bed.
Hmm.
The other one that comes indoors, she'll come back here and she'll run him off the food bowl that I've got back here for him. Because she has already eat outside and then come in and jumped up on the table and eat what she could there and then come back here and beg for more. She was skinny as a rail, but now she's getting fat. And I'm going, well, honey, you're 14. You may ought to lay off the sauce a little bit. I'm glad she's healthy. Hell, we've still got one of the mama cats at age 15.
Sitting here actually working on a new size.
Now that model, did you print it out yourself, or
Yeah.
I didn't think your 3D printer would go that tall. What'd you do? Lay it out sideways?
No, I printed it standing up.
I did not know that yours would go that tall. All right.
Well,
I should have realized given the bell housing on the rocket engine.
Yeah. That will fit inside the bell housing of the rocket engine.
Okay.
Uh-oh, I've lost my rocket. Where'd it go?
I hate to hear that when NASA says it.
Well, it's gone.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, it's gone.
You hit delete instead of save?
No, I moved it and it went somewhere else. Off my build plate, so I had to.
I've got so many backups of files that sometimes I can't find the exact copy of what it is I'm looking for. Then I had some stories I was working on. I saved them. Then I went to the directory it was supposed to save it to, and there was nothing there.
I hate that.
Well, it turns out Windows put it in their cloud folder instead of the local folder I told it to.
That sucks.
Well, I pulled it out of the cloud and put it right back where it's supposed to be. If I wanted to use a cloud, I've got uh, uh, what is it? Yeah, OneDrive. Yeah, OneDrive tried to take over everything. I've got Dropbox if I want a cloud to use. I don't have to.
I hate OneDrive. I don't trust it.
I don't trust it either, especially when it hijacks stuff that I'm working on. And I have to look up how to get stuff back out of it. If it's my files, I want to decide where it goes.
Yeah. That would be nice.
Yeah, that way I can find it again.
Oh, well. I'll just quit playing with that.
Yeah, you yawn one time too many and the whole file may disappear.
Yeah.
Well, we finally ordered the new kitchen stove.
Mm-hmm.
She pulled up I think there was 3 that she was looking at. And we looked at the one that had the best reviews. And then I got down to where the measurements of it are, and I shouldn't have to widen the counter space any at all. It should slide right in. My only worry is it's hardwired. There's no plug in, so we'll have to have that done. And the connector box is sitting on the floor, and it ain't short. So we may have to raise the thing up a little bit to get it to slide over that. If it's not something they will take one look at and go, that's 1960s technology. Yeah, we're going to have to remove that.
You're not on a slab, are you?
Nope.
Okay, well, it's a simple, they'll move it up, put it up next to the wall.
I hope they don't have to crawl under the house. That is one of the narrowest parts of the crawl space, and it is absolutely full of black widow spiders. Why do you think I have never done anything with it? No, I'm expecting them to take one look at the 1960s connector box and go unacceptable, and just put in something else. And if they have to charge me for parts, I'll gladly pay it. Whatever it takes to get a dependable stove that'll last us, 10, 15 years.
What they'll probably do is look at it and say, you need to call an electrician.
They're sending electricians out there. Part of the delivery is hardwire install.
Ah.
Yep. I'm paying $60 for that, plus whatever parts they need to get. We paid to have the new fridge delivered and the old fridge taken away. We're also giving them $40 to take the old stove off. I'm not even going to bother to try and salvage the stove racks. I've got enough of them out at the barbecue grill from the last time that I replaced a stove.
Yeah, Carl. Exactly.
Yeah. Add about 2 zeros to that, and I would think it was a normal price.
At least one.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. My daughter had to, she rents, which I told her, you shouldn't do.
Mm.
But their breaker box went so bad on them that if you flipped a light on a different circuit, it would trip both breakers.
Nah, ours is not quite that bad,
Yeah.
but it's not as versatile as I wish it was.
And one electrician came out and says, "Oh, all the breakers are bad. You need to change out the box." I told her, I said, "Let me look at it." She says, "No, Daddy, no, no." Because you know what I would have done? I'd have pulled one of the breakers and gone to Home Depot.
Got a brand new one.
A whole set of brand new ones.
Nope, I am seriously considering hiring an electrician to come out, and if that breaker box will not be too old to add anything to it, even though it's got empty slots, run a brand new wire up into the attic, out the eaves of the house, and over to the barbecue grill into a junction box with like 4 outlets on it.
Yeah.
Because that's a little above my pay grade. I can wire up a lamp. I was the one that hardwired the last 2 stoves that we got. Well, one of those was before Lindsay and I got married, so she never even got to see it. But swapping a pigtail for hardwiring is not hard, but they no longer make the range and stove that hang from the countertop.
Yeah.
That's what this is. The one we're getting has little legs on it where it sits on the floor.
And has that little drawer for your pots and pans.
The bread warmer drawer, yeah. I was informed by somebody that actually uses it for that purpose instead of pots and pans. That that's what it was for. It was to use the oven and warm the bread.
Mhm.
And I'm going, yep, that's exactly what I want. Warm bread with melted plastic all over it.
But yeah, you know why most people put the pots and pans in there, don't you? Well, there's actually 2 reasons.
Well, one, there's never enough cabinets in a kitchen.
Yeah. 2, all that cast iron down there, low center of gravity. When you open the oven door, it won't flip over.
All the cast iron is going to be outside with me at the outdoor grill. When Lindsay found out I was buying cast iron to cook with outdoors, she said, "Good, you can have all of this stuff you bought for me in here because I don't use it." And I'm going, "Yeah, I know, honey. That's why I never get cornbread."
My wife refuses to not listen to me about cast iron and will scrub it with Dawn soap and put it in the cabinet.
And let it rust.
Yeah. And I got to
Yeah.
spend hours sanding and seasoning.
Reseasoning. Yep.
Yeah. So I just gave up on it.
Don't think I'm going to give up on it, but I've got at least 2 that I'm going to have to reseason. Lindsay never knew. Don't use a metal utensil to scrape everything off, and then don't use dishwashing liquid and whatever to clean it out. because that removes the seasoning. So I'm going to have what I'm going to do is one of the first things that I do on the cast iron stove outside is fry up a big mess of bacon.
Yep. Oh, I saw this. They make stovetop popcorn, but they fry up, little chunks of bacon like this,
Uh-huh.
mix it all, fry it all up, and then add the popcorn seeds. Don't even pull the bacon bits out.
Of course not.
So I got to try that.
It sounds good. It does sound good. Now, I have been watching videos by a chuck wagon cook,
Cowboy, whatever his name
Cowboy
is.
Kent. Yeah,
Yeah.
he did an entire video on how to season or repair and re-season cast iron because they had a house, I believe it was in Oklahoma, and during the wildfires, house burned down with half of his cast iron gear still inside. So he went through and the stuff that just wasn't too warped to use or didn't get cracked from the heat and the rapid cooling afterwards, like the fire department hoses. He
Yeah.
he would sand it down. He actually used a battery powered drill and a wire brush and got it all cleaned out. And then he recommended um, grape seed oil, not to be confused with canola oil
Yeah.
because of its other name. He said, this is the best stuff to use to season cast iron. It is food grade. It really does not put any taste onto the cast iron. And it works a little quicker. So I'm thinking, you know, that stovetop, the cast iron stovetop, is going to need to be seasoned as well.
Yeah.
So, as one of the fires that I build in it when I get the chimney pipes hung, as that starts cooling off, I'm gonna have to wipe that down with that grapeseed oil I found it at a grocery store. It was uh, fairly inexpensive. It was competitively priced with things that were far less healthy for you, even though people have been using them for years. It just come to find out, oh, that's not good for you. And tell that to my 100-year-old grandmother that used it every day, along with Crisco,
And lard.
bacon drippings. Yeah. Uh,
And do not use corn oil.
I did not know that. Why?
Corn oil is the worst thing for you,
Oh, okay. Yeah.
along with high fructose corn syrup.
Yeah. And probably for the same reasons. All those glycerides that are either mono or tri, or glycerides are really weird things.
I am just about kick the corn syrup habit.
Oh, I don't think any brand of beer I buy has corn syrup in it. At least I hope not.
Mm.
But other than coffee, tea, water, and an occasional glass of wine, that's about all I will drink. I have not had a soda pop of any particular variety in several years. I decided I was going to quit drinking beer once because I didn't want to get fat. So I was drinking Mountain Dew or 7 Up or some of the other lemon lime things, even
Yeah.
the store brands. I gained another 10 pounds. So I quit drinking soda. And I went back to the beer that tasted okay to me. It's not anything fancy. Uh, it's not a huge name, but it's not some obscure microbrewery thing. Of course, I do have a Shiner box sitting here that I'm fixing to open. I don't treat myself to bottled beer that often. I bought one of those mixed 6-packs where I could just select one bottle of different brands and different varieties at one of the grocery stores. And
Oh, Carl, please say it's not so. He stopped drinking for the night.
It's because he's fixing to go to bed.
And he's got to get up early.
Oh, yeah. Tomorrow's Sunday. He's got to make his grocery crawl. I said crawl because, it's Carl.
Yeah. I wish I had a little extra money right now.
Oh, yeah? What you need?
I need to replace the pinion seal and axle seal on the box truck. It leaks just a little bit. I found a whole box truck for $1,000 same year.
Yeah, and isn't that about what they want for those 2 seals?
Just about.
Yeah.
And to put it in.
Uh-huh. Oh, let me see this one. Last week, Donna wanted to go with me, and it took longer because we went later in the day. Yeah, that's one thing that is a benefit, and Mr. Bachman has joined us. That's one thing that is a benefit of going to one of those stores
early in the morning.
Early, yeah. Especially if it's one that's open 24 hours and you get there like 3 a.m. And when the only people are there are either walking around in tattered clothes or there's one really cute girl in a skin tight cat suit and high heels. Don't ask me where that grocery store is. I won't tell you.
Well, pretty much all the 24-hour stores have closed up.
Mm-hmm.
Say it ain't so.
Yeah. Yeah, COVID killed the 24-hour stores. Walmart found out they could save nearly $3 million a month just closing.
Closing at 10 and opening at 10.
Closing at 11 and opening at 6.
Yep.
I said, well, why is that? And they said, it's not walking out the door.
Oh, shoplifting at night. Yes.
Yeah. I got to show you something I printed. Hey, Joe.
All right.
Oh.
Knocked over my trivet.
And goofed with my Sharpie.
Oops.
Little filament change right there, right in there.
Mm-hmm.
But it didn't print the engines, so it's just a desk model. Well, I'm gonna tell you, if somebody breaks in my house and I'm in the office, this is what I'm grabbing to hit them with. It's a good pound.
I think I can go you one better. This is one of Cowboy Kent's trivets. It came with two different sizes, two different lengths of legs as to how far you want to elevate it over the campfire. I went down to the hardware store and bought some short ones too. Uh, Not that I'm going to be using it over a campfire, but I
Mhm.
might take the lids off the stove and set a Dutch oven or something just a little bit over the
Yeah.
fire itself.
I was just sitting here looking at this thing. If I crack somebody in the head with it, I know where I'm gonna put it after I hit them with it.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and you can fix that mess up with your Sharpie with a little bit of Tester's white.
Getting white to match is the hardest thing you'll ever do.
Not if you're an artist. We
But that
could
damn,
match we could match every brush stroke in the Sistine Chapel if you give us a few minutes and a good enough set of paint. Now, what it looks like when it dries, that's the part that requires experimentation first to figure out.
uh, the my dad, I told you my dad was a house painter by trade.
Yeah,
Mhm.
He would only buy white paint. He would mix his own colors.
oh yeah.
I've
Oh,
seen him. I've seen him take a piece of sheet metal, and he'd walk up, and knock on it, to try to figure out what kind of wood it was.
it can be done. I have done wonders with simple um, polyurethane um, wood stain of various colors. I like mahogany the best because it shows up against every lighter wood you want to use as trim.
Mm. And he would only use oil-based enamel.
That makes it easier. No, that does. I mean, cleanup is
A bit.
difficultly harder, but mixing the colors is actually easier with an oil-based paint.
Mhm.
Got to looking through his garage. He still got his tents. I didn't look to see if they were dried up, but
Hey, um, I went to a paint store and was trying to locate hunter green, which the one I had came in a can and I wanted to match it.
Mhm.
They were going to mix me up a special extra cost green and wanted me to bring in a paint chip. He said, that sounds like a plan. I'll go to the house. You know what I did? I found a can of that paint. I cut the label off of it. I figured out what brand it is and what the number was, and I went out and ordered some. And it came to the house, and it was the right color. Uh,
yeah, these guys that mix paint today, if the computer says you do it this way, you do it this way, and if it's the wrong color, it's your fault.
uh-huh. Um, Now I'm on the repair work to the Toyota. I was told by the guy at the paint and body shop, this is a finicky color, and we have to measure some of the ingredients in grams. To get 1 gallon, there's one or two additives that have to be 5 grams or less in order to match the rest of the car. Otherwise, we have to paint the whole thing with a stock color. I'm going, dude, you do this for a living. For once, I'm going to take somebody's word for it and let you show me you know what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
That's the problem with the red on my car. It cannot be matched. I can find a car made the same year in the same week, the same color, and put it on, and it won't match.
Well, he looked up the factory specs and got the exact mix, supposedly, that Toyota used that week. I mean, he dug down into it that deeply. And I guess there's something in the what you call that code that there you can see it in the windshield.
VIN
Anyway,
code.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
evidently he can figure out what week it was actually manufactured of the year that it was made. So
And somewhere on the car is the build codes.
could be.
I've got that on the glove box of my car.
He did take a lot of pictures of a lot of different little number plates around the
Yeah.
car. So
Yeah, I deciphered the numbers on my car. And now if somebody looks at the there's number plates in 3 different locations on that vehicle.
hmm
When they look at my car and they see what's on it and try to match the VIN and the build code, it ain't gonna match.
because you rebuilt it's a junkyard restore, basically, isn't it?
Yeah, with what I did, yeah. Uh, I've actually got the Super Sport spindles on it. Super Sport sway bar. Whereas, the normal sway bar is maybe the size of that cap.
Yeah,
The sway bar on it now is twice that size.
almost the
Let me,
diameter of the bottle.
yeah, close.
Yeah,
But the thing is, trying to get that bitch in without pulling the motor. It can be done.
yes.
And it goes in behind the motor.
And I figured out a way to change the alternator in a Kia van without having to pull the wheel, fender well, and one fender off to get to it. It took me 2 days to figure it out and a whole day to put it in, then pull it back out and turn it backwards and put it back in the right way because I put it in backwards the first time. The mounts were on the wrong sides, so I had to pull it back out and swap it.
My uncle was a Ford technician at a dealership. And to change the timing belt on the Ford Escorts,
Yeah,
you literally had to drop. You didn't have to pull the motor. You had to drop the motor. He looked at it, cocked his head, looked underneath it, cocked his head again. I'll be right back. Went to Home Depot and bought a 1.5-inch hole saw. Drilled right through the fender wall
The wheel? Yeah.
Yeah. When it popped out, he pulled it out and he goes, "Guys, look at this." They went, "Holy shit."
Well, it is now.
They just went, "Holy shit." And now, it says, it's an all-day job to change the timing belt on that car. By him doing that, he cut it down to 2.5 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, the dealership still charged them the full rate.
Of course.
And just so happened Ford had a part plug that would fill in those holes, a little rubber grommet to go in.
Oh yeah.
So
That way you don't have to worry about trying to gently weld the sheet metal back in place.
yeah, well, all it was just sheet metal. It
Yeah.
wasn't support.
I know. It's
So
just a splash guard.
yeah, and he patched it up, and of course the Escorts, you're supposed to change out the timing belts on them every 65,000. Was back then.
Yeah.
One of them would roll in, he'd go, "Ah, damn." All right. He'd get his hole saw out and walk over and look and go, "Aha! I worked on this one."
Pop out the little rubber grommet and
Yeah.
throw the wrench in there. Yeah, the hardest part for me is that spring-loaded pulley arm that
Oh,
tensions the
yeah.
serpentine belt. That thing, you just basically either have to have two people or three hands, or one sufficiently angry redneck with a toolbox and no fear of using
A half-inch breaker bar with a cheater handle.
cheater bars. Yeah. Half inch, 3/4 inch. I ain't going for half measures. If I have to, I'll go over to mom and dad's and get dad's 1 inch.
Half inch is usually what that little hole is.
Yeah.
Oh, that reminds me. Metric sockets are, you got the metric and the standard sockets. Worldwide, it's 1/4, 3/8, half-inch drive.
Yep. It don't matter what the size of the thing that you're trying to turn, the actual drive
Yeah.
is still imperial.
Yeah.
Actually, daddy broke a 1-inch drive bar trying to loosen a lug nut on a tractor tire so we could bust it loose and put a new inner tube in it. Now, when he went to Sears and laid the parts on the desk and said, "Warranty says I get a free replacement for life," they looked at him like he was Superman and he was about to cut loose on the store if they didn't give him what he wanted. He had broke vanadium chrome steel. He didn't tell them his cheater bar was an 8-foot pipe and he was jumping up and down on it.
The CV, the joint on the CV axle on my car, I had an 8-foot breaker bar and was hanging on it on the end and bouncing to get it to come loose. Yeah, needless to say, I was cussing a mechanic. Because it didn't come from the factory that way because it had a Napa part in it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, the CV still had the Napa sticker on it. And it's like, yeah, if I ever find out who you are, I'm going to JB weld your lug nuts on. I've done it before. Don't think I won't do it again.
I had a flat tire on the van. I could not undo my lug nuts on the flat tire. The tire dealer I had been going to for years, they use an air wrench. They tighten it up so much that 200 pounds bouncing up and down on a damn socket handle is not enough force to break that lug nut loose. I took the spare tire out. If I have another flat tire, State Farm's paying for it because I'm going to call a record and have me towed to a damn tire shop. Hey, they gonna make it so that I can't change a tire? I'm too old for that. No. If I was young, I'd be upset about it. Now I'm just going, well, that just gives me more room in the cargo compartment. I don't have to worry about that. The reason I have that spare tire is because when I bought the van, it had one of those little donut spares. And I had a flat tire on the way to LibertyCon one time alongside Highway 75 in between Atlanta and Chattanooga. And I took the old wheel off, no problem. Found out where the donut spare was, dropped it down, tried to fit it on, and then I realized you can't fit a 4-hole wheel on a 5-lug pattern. There's no way that even I can overcome that particular obstacle. They'd put the wrong spare tire in the van. So I went and bought a 17-inch rim, the right size, got a new tire on it. Tire place said, we can't put an air pressure sensor in here because we have no way of knowing where you're going to put it. And you'll be really annoyed at false readings coming up on the dashboard telling you one of them's low or flat or whatever. I'm going, don't worry about it. I'll know which one it is. I won't care. And then I had another flat tire, and it was because somebody lost one of those self-starting steel panel screws in the driveway at work, and I happened to run over it. Well,
good night, Donna.
Good night, Donna.
Have a good night, Donna.
And hey, Kiri.
And hope you're feeling better.
So I got my battery. I got my car battery powered air compressor in there. Filled it up. Drove it 2 miles to the tire place and said, "Hey, I don't even want you to patch it. Just replace it. I know I just bought it. It might be under warranty. It might not. I don't care what it costs. Put me a new tire on it." And they did.
I carry a plug.
I carry a plug kit too, but by that time I was extremely livid and I was tired of messing with it. They tighten the lug nuts, they can take them off. So yeah, and I could feel that screw in the tire going down the road. I could hear it clattering on the blacktop.
Whenever I go, to on conventions. In the back seat of the car is my I got it from Harbor Freight, is my impact wrench, my air compressor, and my drill. And 2 hot batteries.
I've got one of those rechargeable battery jumpers.
Be here Monday.
Uh-huh. I hope it's the big briefcase sized one, because those things, they will hold a charge for 3 months before you have to recharge them again, even if you never use them.
The one I've got is hold on, messaging Chris. The one I've got is like that long by that thick, and it's supposed to hold it's guaranteed to hold a charge for a year.
Well, I thought about that one, and I don't know what changed my mind. Maybe it was the larger one had better reviews or more reviews or something, but I just there was just something about it that didn't feel right to me. So I went ahead and got the other one.
This one's got 1,000 gold cranking amps. They said it's good for 6 boosts before you recharge. And the only reason I got it is and Matrotham Con at this year at the Trade Center, I forgot to roll my window up. So I stuck the keys in the car, turned it on, rolled the window up. Greg was fussing, all this. So I just got out, shut the door, and went on. Left the headlights on.
Oh.
And the switch on. This guy pulled up. I mean, he said, I just got this little rinky dinky thing. I said, I don't know if it'll work. We'll try it. My car hasn't spun that good since I got it. I'm like, wow, okay. I guess I will get me one.
That's one of the best reviews you could ever get.
Is actually
somebody got it and you see it in use.
Yeah. He said, this is the first time I've used it. I've had it for a year or two. So it held a charge for over a year.
Yeah. Well, before going to Halicon, I pulled my toolboxes out, pulled that spare tire out, all the other gear that I had been riding around like an old farm boy, just for emergencies only, going, well, I've had this thing since it was 1 year old, and it's now old enough to drink in any state in the U.S. I believe that since I can no longer change my own tires, and those tools are still stored in the body panels of the van, I can get by without a full machine shop set up in the back.
Yeah. Well, one thing about my jack, it doesn't have the little handle that, you twist it and then you have to flip the handle down to twist it again. It's got the little nut, which is just so happens to be a 19 millimeter socket on my impact.
Yeah. I'm a firm believer in buying those hydraulic bottle jacks instead of using those little corkscrew things that come with vehicles, because I almost lost a foot when one of those bent. and I was changing the brakes,
Yeah.
and the car fell off the jacks, and that just so happened, just coincidentally, I had my feet out of the way, so neither one of them got cut off, but I could see how easy it would have been. So I went out and got me a nice big bottle jack that'll fit in that same compartment the little corkscrew thing goes in.
Dan, you want me to give you a mechanic's tip? When you pull the tire off, slide it under the body.
Yeah. I have not only seen that done, I have done it myself.
And
I did
when,
not do it. I did not do it this time. I did have like a foot long piece of a railroad tie under there, but I had it in the wrong place.
yeah, it's just some of the things.
Oh, experience is a great teacher.
Yeah. Of course, my dad, he's paranoid on floor jacks and all that collapsing.
Mm-hmm.
And so, he's got 6-ton floor jacks or jack stands.
Mm-hmm.
He will not let me, with those up under the car, he will not let me crawl under the car until the jack is back up underneath, holding pressure in case the 6-ton floor jacks fall on my 1-ton vehicle.
Well, you still alive, ain't you?
I ain't never fell.
Hey, paranoia is not necessarily a bad thing.
The fun time was when I was working with that ARCA team. Oh boy, backed it into the wall at Pocono. You couldn't get 4 jack stands under it. I was under it with 3 jack stands.
Don't seem safe.
That's what I'm kind of thinking.
Frame was twisted. You could put the 4th jack stand under there and you could lift it up, but it would never fall within the right click.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh well. I mean, I pulled the rear end out of the car. I pulled, drive shaft, front spindles. With 3 jack stands under it.
You're a braver man than I am. Well, I'm going to run down the hall. I'll be right back.
So, Joe, what 3D experiments you got going?
I've just been printing off more Christmas ornaments, trying to run out the last of this white on the spool. So I can try out the new white that I got. I was going to order more from Artillery 3D, but all they have is blue and red right now, which does me no good.
Emerzon.
Well, that's where I ordered the white from.
Yeah, one thing about white, you've got to be careful because certain whites will suck the paint and bleed.
So this is actually what I printed off yesterday. I got to glue the head and everything on still, but it's a little Santa Claus. And the feet actually move too.
Oh, yeah, you saw the little video of the Christmas gift in the puzzle box?
Yes. Yeah, I keep seeing those pop up and keep going, I could print that, but do I really want to mess with that many little fucking parts? But yeah, I printed off. I got a full one of the Santa printed off. I started printing off another one. I still haven't taken the supports off him yet. And I didn't think about it. I should have printed it without the supports because now I got to trying to dig the supports out from around the feet.
Ugh.
Yeah. So yeah, that'll be
I think
tomorrow's
tomorrow I'm going to
project.
set my decorations up. You would like it. It's an inflatable Grinch
Mm-hmm.
with his, like he's holding something in his hands. And I run the Christmas lights through his hands, and then I hang them up on one corner of the house.
That works.
People stop, take pictures.
Mm-hmm.
My wife hates it. Everybody goes, "That is brilliant."
Yeah, I need to. There's a bunch of other stuff I need to print off too. I started to run low on this white, and I thought I had less than what I apparently had. But there's a few other things I'm going to print off, and then I'm going to go back to printing off a bunch of Nick's BSRs to get ready for Indie CD Con. I think that's in March.
Do you want me to? I can't. I can't use your GEAD code, but if you send me the file, I could print some too. And with my machine, I can print 4 at a time.
I can print 4 at a time. I just got to figure out why I just got to mess with the settings on mine. I can actually fit, I think it's like 12 at a time on mine. But for some reason, when I try and I can do just one of these, prints off fine all day long. I up it to 4, and for whatever reason, and it's within the area that I've been using, like you can see where it's printing at. It's within the same little area that, clearly has been scraped and glued and scraped and everything else. It won't hold. But if I print off something decently large within that area, holds just fine. So I don't know what the hell it's doing.
You lose adhesion to build plate?
Yeah, somehow. But I've printed off a bunch of like little trainer weapons for the wife. And they're all like going all over different areas of the build plate, and they all sit there just fine. I'm thinking about just putting one into Orca like I normally do, but sliding it over to where my fail point normally is and see if it still fails as a single right there. Because if it does, then I know it's something with, either settings or the build plate or something. If it doesn't, then I'm going to take a damn sledgehammer to the thing.
Have you tried the cleaning trick I told you?
Not yet, because after I flipped it back over to this side, the night that I was having all those issues,
Yeah.
I had it on the reverse side because I can use both sides of that plate. When I flipped it back over to the other side, it started printing fine for everything I was trying to print off. I'm like, you piece of... I need to take it upstairs and put some soap and water on it and clean it off and see if that helps. Which that might be a tomorrow thing. We'll see. See how froggy I feel.
I'm about as froggy as a frog about this time of year. dug a hole in the mud and just shut down for the winter.
Yeah, I'm gonna print off a bunch of these BSRs. I gotta actually have Nick send me the link, because Richie and I went through and fixed all the STL files, but for some reason I don't have. I thought I had all the STL files downloaded, and I don't.
If you
So
want to send me some, I mean, I would love to print them up. Do they have to be white?
They don't have to be. I've been doing them in white. That way people can easily paint them whatever color they want.
Yeah.
Treating it almost like Warhammer, let them paint them, and only without the, restrictiveness that Warhammer has of, you have to use this particular shade of red to have it count as, being of this faction.
Mm.
Use a damn crayon for all we care.
Really? Sorry for the extra delay, guys. Lindsay insisted we have pizza tonight, and there was a little bit more tomato paste on it than her stomach can tolerate. She's gotten, she has been avoiding anything. I mean, I can't even make spaghetti for her now.
Yeah, you can just use Alfredo.
Well, yeah, I could. That would be something new for me. But yeah, the standard recipes that I use for most stuff that has loads of tomato in it will make her sick. So yeah, I had to get her an Alka-Seltzer, and that's no problem.
I wonder if my grandmother's recipe would set her off. 'Cause it has tomato in it, but it's not tomato sauce or paste or anything. It's chunks of tomato in it, so she could actually pick around that.
I really don't know. Now she will insist on making her quiches with slices of tomato right under the cheese crust. But that's only 1 or 2 little bitty slices of cherry tomatoes per piece that she will eat. But this was like, between the two of us, we finished off a medium-sized pizza, and it was nothing but tomato sauce and cheese. There was no peppers or pepperoni or anything on it. So
if I can ever find the damn recipe book, I will send you the recipe for my grandmother's spaghetti. It's a sauceless spaghetti, and this is going to sound weird, because it is kind of weird, but it's good, and it's one of those that's even better the second day. Brown up your ground beef. Well, first you lightly fry your bacon.
Yeah.
And then chop that up. You don't want it hard and stiff, just, lightly fried. Limp, I guess. Fry your
British. Yes.
Fry your hamburger in the bacon grease. Get it browned up. Boil up your pasta, and you add chopped onion, chopped celery, the bacon, the hamburger, and she used to use a can of the stewed tomatoes. Dump those in, and I want to say it's a cup of sugar.
Kills the acid in the tomatoes. Yeah.
So it's kind of a sweet spaghetti, sweet sauceless spaghetti, but a lot of people, when you start off with, well, lightly fry your bacon, they're going, what? What do you mean lightly fry my bacon? We're talking spaghetti.
Will.
We are, but
Uh-huh.
and I don't know if this was her recipe. That I'm willing to bet it was actually one of my great grandmother's recipes originally.
Mm.
I just always knew it as grandma's recipe because both great grandmothers were already, 6 feet down by the time I came around. But if I can ever find that damn recipe book, I'll send you the recipe so you
All
guys can
right.
at least try it, or
Yeah. Lindsay makes one. It's basically don't boil the noodles rapidly,
mhm.
but start them off, and then brown some diced onions and a little bit of. She learned this one from me. A little bit of Jimmy Dean's sage sausage, and for the sauce that goes on it, it's basically butter
Yeah.
and herbs
hmm
and no tomatoes involved whatsoever.
And actually, if you don't want to do the sugar, you could probably do butter instead with my grandmother's recipe because that would cut the acidity of the tomatoes also.
Mm-hmm. Now, what I may have to do what I have done before when I've made chili and found out, oh, we can't have stuff with mushrooms and onions and olives in it. I go, great, good thing I've got 2 crock pots. Uh, so I make one for me and I make one for the people with dietary restrictions.
Mhm.
And I just load my stuff up with everything I like, and if I'm the one that's still eating it 2 days, if it lasts me 2 days for a several gallon crock pot, I'd be surprised, but it's amazing how many times you go back to seconds where you have to start calling them fourths.
Mhm.
Uh, Same with my
Yeah,
chili.
yeah. Like I said, this is good the first day. It's even better the second day once it's had a chance to sit in the fridge and kind of meld together overnight.
Well, usually we make it, she makes stuff in a small enough batch to where it's 2 servings each and there's nothing left over. I make stuff to where it might be 2 servings each for the Mormon Tabernacle Choir, but you know, uh, I just think there's so many meals that I can make that I try and make them in a small batch. It never works.
hmm
They always come out right to the brim of whatever pot I'm cooking it in. I don't know why my picture's frozen. I'm hoping my voice isn't.
No, it's still coming through.
Okay.
Yeah, I've learned with my grandmother's recipes, you just make them as is. You don't try and go, oh, there's just 2 of us now. We're gonna cut this in half. Somehow those measurements don't equal out.
Nope.
Exactly. I don't know why I'm nodding like you can see me, but yes, exactly. Um, I don't know
Yeah.
how I got used to cooking for 12.
All right. I'm trying to get Dan's moving again. All right. His in. Now we just got a blank screen of Dan.
I will leave and come back.
All
Alrighty.
right. Maybe that'll work.
I hope so.
All right. Well, you got 14 minutes, so better hurry up.
So I came across an interesting headline.
Uh-oh.
Man who found smooth Mars bar gets a £2 compensation.
Oh, damn.
Instead
I
of
thought he got 2 pounds of Mars bars. I was about to go, hell yeah. No,
right, that's what I thought at first too. I'm like, oh, he only got two. Basically, he got $2 back. Yeah, this one made it past quality control somehow. He reached out to him asking if this was going to be something new, and they issued an apology and paid a $2 compensation to him.
okay. Did he still get to eat the bar?
Yeah, he still got to eat it, and he basically got enough money back to buy two of them, two more. So,
Huh.
but I guess he had posted it on Facebook, and there's some people who used to work at the Mars factories that said that it goes under like a chocolate waterfall that's supposed to give it that texture.
Yeah.
And it says apparently they get blown with air along the top as it comes out of the waterfall, and there's meant to be somebody at the end who removes the ones which haven't been hit by the air. So, they make 2.5 million Mars bars a day at that particular factory. So, hey, that's not bad. Uh-oh.
No?
Camera quit too. That's not good.
Oh. I have been rewatching the Battlestar Galactica series.
The original?
Yeah. No, not the original. The big long series, the 2004.
Okay.
Man, they cover topics. This was 20 years ago. This show came out.
Mm-hmm.
Some of those topics are still relevant today and as controversial. It's like, wow.
Yeah.
And the writing has held up. That's hard to do for some sci-fi series.
Yeah.
Of course, I got to show Dan not the Adama maneuver.
The what? Huh?
The Adama maneuver.
The Adama maneuver. Okay.
I
thought you said the not the Donna maneuver.
the Adama maneuver. Do you know what that is?
I do not.
Did you watch the series?
I did not. 04 would have been my senior year of high school, or graduated in June of 04. And at that time, I was in sports and working damn near full time. And
well, what it is they find this planet that can, that is habitable. It's sort of a clusterfuck, dystopian type planet, and the Cylons find them. And they have to, the Galactica has to go in and rescue them. And they don't do, warp drive. They do FTL jumps.
Yeah.
From, you're here, boom, you're there. They FTL jump into the atmosphere of this planet to launch all the Vipers.
Mm-hmm.
So here's this thing falling belly flop through the sky. Glowing red, burning Viper shooting out of it. And at 60,000 feet, they warp out.
That had to cause a little havoc, I would assume.
needless to say, there was a bit of a sonic boom.
The small one. Uh,
When basically you've got something the size of 8 aircraft carriers, U.S. aircraft carriers
mhm.
in length and 2 aircraft carriers wide. 16 aircraft carriers.
Yeah, just coming down onto the top of a planet, and all of a sudden just gone.
The vacuum created would be
Obscene.
yeah. It shows all the dust and dirt and everything just sucking to that point. People grabbing hold of stuff and holding on.
Oh, well, hopefully Dan gets his stuff working. Otherwise, he won't be able to do LMS.
Mm.
And actually, I'm not going to be around for LMS. I'm fading quick for some reason.
I'm getting there myself. Oh,
Go to breakfast with the wife in the morning. Go do some grocery shopping, and
let me ask you this: since you've had a Waffle House breakfast, is the breakfast up there as good?
oh yeah, the Waffle House breakfast was good. Don't get me wrong, and it's a very neat experience. But I get a lot of normally when we go out for breakfast, I get biscuits and gravy up here, and I'll get a half order of biscuits and gravy and 3 slices of bacon, and I'm stuffed. But the gravy that they have at this bar, it's got chunks of sausage in it like this.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
chewy sausage.
So I mean they ladle, your plate is covered in gravy. It's not just like there's a little bit of gravy over each biscuit. No, it's smothered.
All right, Dan's in stream with just audio.
My camera seems to have totally died.
Oh no.
Oh.
So I'm not going to be able to do LMS tonight. I have tried unplugging and replugging and switching sockets and doing all kinds of things, but the light has gone off on the camera. It is not responding.
Is the computer even making a noise like it's realizing you're unplugging and plugging something in?
Oh yeah, I'm getting the audio alert that something is being unplugged and replugged. Unfortunately, I've only got let me try one emergency thing here. I've got to figure out which of these external hard drives is not the necessary.
Do you know how hard it's to me not to ask the IT question?
Did you turn it off and on again?
It's been turned off and turned back on again so many times. Okay, now that hard drive is really nope. That's killed the keyboard. All right. Camera. Oh, have to undo the wire tie. Doing open hood surgery here live on stream.
Well, you got roughly 4 minutes.
Well, I've got roughly no patience, so
oh, if I had time to actually burn something like this, I would do that in a heartbeat.
I can't see it.
So the big ornament says broken ornaments this year, and it's got a picture of a cat
Yeah.
and a 0, and it's interchangeable. You can change it out for other numbers. Oh, if I had the time, I know some people who have cats that would probably buy that.
Yeah, you probably make a fortune on that one.
That'd be
I
one
can't
I'd
believe we
probably...
haven't even heard from Zachy tonight.
Looking at the Discord, well, he's streaming, according to Discord, he's streaming live SpaceX Starbase 24/7, Flight 6 complete.
Okay, yeah, that one run. There you are.
All right. Don't know why the virtual background is not working, but I probably lost a lot of settings here.
Do you want me to start your show?
Well, I can actually do it this way. It doesn't matter. But okay. I have green screen. That doesn't do anything. Bugger it. As long as the camera's working, I'm going to have to just run with it and try and find that wire I just unplugged so that I can get that.
We got to wrap out, Dan. Can you get into the studio to start your show?
I should be able to. I got into this one, but just to be sure, I'll leave that for later. Let me get and make sure I get in there. And
I will see you folks later this week.
All right.
Y'all have a good night.
All right. Thanks, Joe.
I'm in.
Okay. You can start. Do you have the start and stop?
Yep.
All right. Well, I'm going to wrap it up on this side. Dan's show's about to kick off. He's already over there. We will talk to y'all Thursday night. Say goodnight, Dan.
Good night.
No, you're supposed to say goodnight, Dan.
Good night, Dan.
I have slept the surly bonds of earth and danced the skies on laughter-silvered wings. Sunward I've climbed and joined the tumbling mirth of sun-split clouds and done 100 things you have not dreamed of. Wheeled and soared and swung high in the sunlit silence. Hovering there, I've chased the shouting wind along and flung my eager craft through footless halls of air. Up, up the long, delirious, burning blue, I've topped the windswept heights with easy grace, when never lark nor even eagle flew. And while with silent, lifting mind, I've trod the high, untrespassed sanctity of space. Put out my hand touch the face of God.